And all of a sudden, Cooper Murray has got a run on James Golding to the outside of Golding into turn number 1. Cooper Murray hangs tough. Murray and Golding both squirming heading into turn 2. Golding's run wide. Cooper Murray's taken the lead of the race. He pushes on. Does Cooper Murray? He's getting a good little gap here. It's a decent gap, nearly 8/10 up over the top. What a weekend. 5th in the top 10 shootout, has been there or thereabouts all day. And now leads the biggest race in Australian motorsport.
Yes, fingertips on glory, but it was not to be for Erebus at the Bathurst 1000, but it was still an effort to be proud of, and it only made our guest this week even hungrier. After impressing everyone with Lounsey in the Super Cheap wildcard last year, he made his main game debut this year. Cooper Murray, welcome back to the driver's seat. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Yourself? Thanks for having me on.
Mate, it's I'll tell you what, let's just cut to the chase because it has been a bit of a baptism of fire for you. But if we take the Gold Coast out of the picture, the back end of your season has actually been pretty damn good. I mean, you've got a couple of top 10s, good bit of consistency in there. Townsville, QR, both enduros, the Bend at Bathurst. So you're coming good, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, as you said, the start of the year was definitely a massive baptism of fire. I was sort of thrown away by how difficult it was going to be. I actually had a bit of a false reality last year with Lounsey and the enduros. Everything went too easy. So, I've been really looking forward or been working well with the team this last half of the year, and I think the results are really showing that as well.
Well, I've chatted in the past, mate, to like Thomas Randall and Bryce Fullwood about the jump from Super 2 to main game, and it's a whole new ball game, but it's even a bit more different for you because they went from like Falcons and Nissans to Gen 2 Mustangs and Gen 2 Commodores, whereas you went from the ZB Commodore Gen 2 to a Gen 3 Camaro, and I'm going to guess that learning curve is just a lot bigger than it was from when those guys sort of did it.
Yeah, 100%. The cars are night and day different. And just the biggest thing for me this year has been learning what the car needs, especially on this new tire as well, to make it all click. The setup window in these cars are very small, so it's been a lot of learning this year. My engineer Wayne alongside me as well. He's a rookie in supercars. He did engineering for Super 2 and he's stepped up with me. So 2 rookies in the main game against the best in our sport. It's been difficult, but it's been a really good challenge as well.
Well, you're probably in the best environment to sort of grow at Erebus because we've seen the team nurture drivers from rookies to race winners, and I guess a lot of people when they see the success of like Anton and Will Brown and Brody Kostecki now, they forget that because I can still remember chatting to Will Brown, back before the 2019 Sandown 500, and the bloke looked like he didn't even have reached puberty yet. But knowing that the team's track record in nurturing talent and giving you that bit of reassurance, is it good to know that you've got the support and you can kind of say like, oh look, they've proven that if I stick with it, and do what my engineer says, what the team says, that I'm on the right path.
Yeah, 100%. And I've got Baz's full support behind me, which is obviously amazing. He's picked so many amazing talents throughout his years, and to have his full support behind me is a really good boost of confidence. There's been some difficult times this year, but after all those, Baz has told me why he picked me. He's still got belief in me, and we just keep working forward through this rookie year, learning as much as we can and getting everything bad out of the way. So then going into next year, we can be really strong and obviously end this year on a high as well, and hopefully get a trophy.
Mate, you were very, very close to getting one at the Bathurst 1000, but I won't bring that one up at the moment. But look, the thing that is, obviously, when you're a rookie, there's a lot of pressure put on you because, the spotlight is because you're new to not new to the category, but, new to the main game. And everyone will look at things like you did, like, oh, but he did so well in Carrera Cup. He did awesome in Super 2. When you actually step up to the main game, and you mentioned that that you had a bit of a false dawn with Lounsey, just how much different is it from every other racing you've done? Because people stay match fit, like especially co-drivers, they do other things like maybe they do a bit of Trans Am or do this and that, but there's really nothing like driving a supercar, is there?
No, definitely. And going into full time this year in main game is nothing like I've ever experienced in my 12 years of racing. It was like crazy. They battle as hard for 21st and 22nd as they do for first and second on the track. It's throughout the whole field, the depth of competition is unbelievable. Like people say how big it is and how many talented people there are in the category, but until you're actually in it and driving and going out there every qualifying session, knowing that there's 24 other amazing drivers out there, it's yeah, it's crazy. But obviously you keep learning and you always have self-confidence and got to be a little bit cocky in your own self. But nah, it's been pretty cool this year.
Well, numbers also don't lie, and just looking at some of the stats from this year, you're pretty good in qualifying. You got pretty good one lap speed. Five top 10 shootouts in a rookie year is pretty. It's something to be proud of, mate. But how do you and Wayne, your engineer, sort of do you have that chat to be like, well, how do we sort of translate this to race pace, knowing that you do have the speed, but it's I guess it's a lot different when you've got the track to yourself. You don't know if someone's doing like they're banked a lap, they're doing this or that, whereas translating quality to actual race to the actual race environment, it's a completely different ballgame, isn't it?
It is, and as you said, to have five top 10 shootouts this year is pretty cool. And the main one I wanted to tick off was obviously the Bathurst 1000. I didn't care if I was in no other shootout, I just wanted to be in that one. But no, our speed's been quite good. There's been times throughout the year where we've had a really good race car and not a qualifying car. I think that showed definitely at Gold Coast as well. We struggled to get the car in the window in qualifying, but in the Sunday race, we were fifth quickest on track across the whole race. So. We just got to make sure and keep working towards having a good race car and quali car at the same time, but it's all learning and we're getting better and better every time we go out.
Absolutely. And you talked about, that was your goal to get into the Bathurst shootout. And, to qualify sixth in a field with so many talented drivers, so much experience, so many veterans and stuff like that. And it was actually kind of cool to see you at the bend taking on the Coes. I mean, you're you're on the starting grid with guys like Garth Tander, Mark Winterbottom, Jamie, all of that sort of stuff. What were the nerves like, especially during the enduros?
I was excited. Like these are people that I've grown up watching my whole life, and to be against them on the starting grid was cool. Like obviously, I can have a bit more aggression out there as well because I was a main driver and they're all coes. They always want to bring the car back safe to their main drivers. So that was our whole thought process behind it. Was we knew most of them were going to start their coes, so get myself in. I'm match fit from racing all year in the main game. Get myself in and then try and make up some spots. And that proved a really good thing. At Salem Bend, we made up I think it was four spots. I went from seventh to third after the first stint, and then Bathurst we went from sixth to second. So that really set up the rest of our day, and also made life a lot easier for Job once he got in the car as well. There was no pressure; he could just settle into his rhythm and get into it, and he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, and it's looking like next year just looks first off the grid is just going to be great to see such an injection of youth into the category. Guys like you mentioned, Job, Rylan Gray, Jaden Ojeda, Jackson Walls joining the grid, like all the guys that you've gone door to door with before in Super Two as well. But yeah, your Coe, Job Stewart just was just amazing. And does it excite you when you sort of see like, hang on a second, this bloke's going to be my teammate next year? We can actually have a real red hot crack.
100%. I sort of see it as a changing of the guard, as you'd sort of say. There's a few of the older guys getting out, and a lot of youth is coming in. And over the last couple of years, we've seen youth is the future. So I'm really excited to be teaming up with Joe as my teammate. So we get along really well. We're awesome friends off track. So we're looking forward to working together as best as we can to be the next Brody and Will at Erebus, but better than they were.
Well, it's funny because your main game, we talked, like I just mentioned in the intro, I mentioned the Super Cheap Auto wildcard with Landsy that you did, but your main game career started a little bit earlier than you expected at the Adelaide 500. And when you got the tap on the shoulder to sort of say, hey, get your race suit ready, you got to jump into a Camaro, what was that like?
Well, it's actually a bit of a funny story. So I was out at a dinner Thursday night, it was, after the first practice. Obviously, I didn't expect to be racing at all. I was out at dinner with a sponsor, actually drinking a couple beers. And then Baz calls me and he goes, Jack's flying home first thing tomorrow morning. You're in. We got your gear in the truck and we'll see you at 7 o'clock for a seat fit. So I pushed that beer away as quickly as I could. Had to unfortunately sponsor dinner and then go prep for what was going to be a hectic weekend. Obviously, getting thrown into the deep end.
And there's no like, there's what a great track to do it at Adelaide. Yeah, not like any concrete walls or anything that you have to watch out for there.
No, not at all. It's an amazing track though, Adelaide. I raced there in Super 2, Carrera Cup, had a lot of success there. So I was confident. I knew the track going into it. Obviously, it was a session behind the eight ball, missing practice one, but from Baz and the whole team side, there was no pressure at all. Just go out there and drive and learn as much as I could. Obviously, going into this year, it was a really fun weekend. Thanks to Jack for obviously having the baby, but no. Yeah, looking forward to getting back there again this year. It's really excited for that.
Well, you're finishing strong. You're almost coming home with a wet sail. I know you're out of finals contention, but you're still getting some pretty good results and some good quality speed. Have you mentioned that, Bathurst top 10 shootout was one of the things that you had as a goal for 2025. Was there anything else that you just want to tick off in these last two rounds?
Look, to obviously, if we could get a podium, that'd be amazing. Reward the team with a trophy after all their efforts. I think we've had the speed at times this year to make it happen. It just hasn't obviously worked out. But I'm really confident going into Sandown. The team the last 2 years there have been amazingly quick. Brody was in contention to win there last year before he had the engine failure. And Jack was, I think, around third before he got taken out as well. But also myself have a lot of confidence there after Sandown last year with Lounsey finishing fifth in the wild card. So we're all eyes forward to getting a trophy at Sandown.
Well, mate, we wish you all the best for Sandown and Adelaide, and we look forward to seeing the Total Energies Camaro up the front. But Cooper, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you again on the driver's seat, mate. Go well at Sandown, and I'll see you in Adelaide. And maybe at the end of it, we can have that frothy at the gala.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me on.